Hello, everybody. At this point, also from me, a good day and thank you for taking the time and joining this webinar. Following my colleague's words, I'd like to show you in the platform today why we think cyber threat intelligence is a process, and specifically how we create actionable intelligence out of threat information. What you can see here on my screen is the landing page on ThreatQ's security operations platform. For the sake of the limited time available today, let us concentrate on the left side of the landing page and start with the bottom half, this one here. This demo platform we use in the webinar is connected to open source feeds like Alienwald, like the National Vulnerability Database, or like Malpedia. And it's also connected to commercial sources like Resilient, like Tenable, ThreatQuotient. And it also receives data from sharing community like InThreat. In the background of the platform, the platform not only collects the indicators, but it also normalizes and correlates the data. And as the various intelligence sources utilize different formats, proprietary APIs and custom taxonomies, ThreatQ's job is to normalize all the different source formats into a unified data model. And on the right-hand side of the intelligence window, we see not only the total number of indicators coming into the platform and the inactivity cycles, we also show the lifecycle management for indicators, which allows our customers to configure how long each indicator stays active in ThreatQ. On top of this incoming intelligence window, you do see ThreatQ's scoring mechanism. This is basically a scoring matrix each customer may lay over the indicators coming into this platform, and this is how you split the noise from important data specifically to your needs. And that's here the way you can do this. If we go to data management, go to scoring, you see how we do this. You can score by indicator type, you can score by indicator source, by attribute, by adversary relationship. But usually there are some common ways to establish relevance of indicators by scoring. It may be simply the source, like you can see here, or it may be by attribute, like target industry or geography, by a vulnerability to a certain style or attack. One may have seen a specific malware or a threat actor before in the network, etc. So to get the most relevant data, I would say scoring and lifecycle management bring us already half the way. But what if I do need additional information? What if I do need more context? Then, for example, we can work with this. We don't know what tools you are using. What we know is that a platform like ours shall allow you to use your tools. It should not dictate your workflow of the tools to gather more context or more information. Furthermore, it should store the results of your investigation in a central place for everybody involved to see. Not that certain jobs have to be done twice or thrice. This is just a subset of tools for information gathering we support, and you can see here, right? So if you miss a tool you need to work with specifically on a day-to-day basis, simply click this button and add the tool you need from our marketplace. Combining the contextualized data with relationships and fitting them into a data model brings us further to actually create threat intelligence. So let's stop here and go back to the landing page. I'd like to point you again to the results of the scoring mechanism here. We will use this result as an example on how gathered intel can be used. From my point of view, this example is one of the most important ones, which is not only surprising for somebody who knows me, because my background is with a SIEM provider, and one of the questions I always got back in the days was which rule sets should be configured in order to bring the most benefit for the customers. So, and I think this is one of the most brilliant examples using threat intelligence, external threat intelligence, bringing into the scene. So for our test environment, I admit we took the really easy way and simply are sending all active and scored indicators from very high here to low to the SIEM platform. And like you can even taking the easy way, we reduce the amount of total indicators in the platform from 5 million by 98%. And if we switch over to the SIEM, you can see that this is already reflecting here. So from 5 million to 96,000, this is a really, really large offset. So, if we look into the page, if the landing page of the SIEM more closer, you can see intelligence you can find in the SIEM based on our threat intelligence provided to the SIEM. So I hope you can see the offset we're generating by sending relevant information to Splunk in this case. We reduce the load the SIEM is receiving. We spare storage space. We reduce the false positive rate, and with that, we reduce probably the headache rate of analysts in the SOC. And these are just two examples of the benefits we create. And by the way, if I'm using Splunk, this is only related to our test environment. We support any other SIEM which is in the market. It may be McAfee ESM, it may be Block-Rhythm, it may be ELK or IBM's Curator. You name it, we integrate into it. So for today, I don't want to concentrate too much on the SIEM side of things. You clearly saw the intel we provided, and you can see the most important thing here on the right-hand side of the starting page of the add-on. This is this number. Six in total. 6 sightings which are matching internal intelligence from provided external intelligence. So we do have 5 million in total worked on with ThreatQ, provided 96,000 reduction by 98%, and then six sightings in the network. So for me, it's really a number I can work with. This is the matchup. So this is the feedback loop we're talking about. We match internal information, threat intelligence, with external threat intelligence, and we need to send it back. And how this is reflected back in the threat intelligence platform, I will show you here. So we go back, we look for analytics, we go into the events and choose new events. And in general, these are all the events coming into ThreatQ. We look specifically for the event from the SIEM platform. By following this link, the system shows us the associated database threat library entries. It shows here some attributes related to the event, the source of the event, the description of the event, and the indicator in question who actually created the event. So I'd like you to ask and follow me for a quick exercise. Let's see what the platform can do with all the accumulated information and relationship building by taking this event and add it to an investigation. The investigation part of ThreatQ is just a tool to visualize content within the threat library graphically. So, and with this being able to show relations between data model objects better and easier. To do this, we just have to add this event to an existing but investigation by just clicking the button, choose the name of the investigation, You see here it's successfully added, and if I click the view button, I'm already in the investigation. I hope you can all see this object. This icon here represents the database object we already saw. By highlighting this object here, you can see all the relations you saw before in the threat library here on the right-hand side, with the attributes, with the related indicators, with the type of the object, with the subtype, with a relationship number, with the sources reporting. Let's see what we can quickly figure out about this incident. So obviously, I think we should start with the indicator which caused it all. So by hitting the plus button here, we bring this quickly in to our investigation. And again, you see here on the right-hand side all the relationships, but I want to point you first to the bottom of the page, the timelining. You can see here multiple sources reporting on the same indicator on different times. External sources like AlienVault here or CrowdStrike. You can see an external source like the sharing community like InThreat. But you also see two different internal events, like the proof point event here in April and a second Splunk event half a year in. So in order to continue my investigation, I'd like to bring in the second Splunk event as a reference. So all I need to do is hit the events button and look for the second Splunk event. Click the plus and bring it into my investigation. Put a little bit space in between and look what I do have on information based on relationships and indicators and the description. So what I can learn here out of this pretty reduced information set is that obviously it was reported by an external source, it was scored and then sent to the SIEM. The indicator was found somewhere in the logs and it was reported back to ThreatQ. But then no other internal associated event was reported, no further work was done, at least nothing was reported in the system. So in the end, what we do have, we do have nothing further on, but we do have the second Splunk event. So this leads me to the conclusion that I should continue and probably look for the third internal event. And this is also really easy. Going back to the indicator involved, go for events and bring in the third internal event. Again, by simply clicking the button and having this email object here in my investigation. Relationships here, and what you find here also, again, proof point on the right-hand side, and the indication that it was a possible spearfish attack. So with this conclusion now, I think I have to look into two different things. One might be the attachment, and the other might be the recipient of this possible email or this possible spearfish event. So at first, I think let's have a look at the recipient. So this is pretty easy, going to indicators, looking for the email address and bringing it to the investigation. So by integrating ThreatQ with an LDAP system or in a company's Active Directory, we would have the opportunity to request the identity information of this possible spearfish victim. So I can bring this information additionally in. What I see here is all the information I can gather from the identity, from Active Directory. So by just unfolding the relationship in attributes, I can see all the information I can have. So as a pure example, let's go for the country this guy is working in. So this is one part of my quick investigation. The other part, as I said before, is the attachment. So knowing the internal procedures, I'd be aware that a potential malicious attachment is automatically analyzed by a sandbox. And by integrating the sandbox in ThreatQ, a threat library is also already aware of the analysis report. Hence, we do not only find the related attachment, but also the sandbox report here ingested as an event as well. So let's have a look. So I go for the attachment. I see that's a Word document. And by looking for the relations, again, in event, like I told you before, I do have the result of the analysis. So, and by looking for additional information, here again in attributes, I do see a lot of things. But my view is I look for the score here, and I look for the maximum severity here. And these are really high numbers. One is 95, one is 100. So in my mind, I can just strike out the possible spearfish attack and make it a real spearfish attack. So another thing which supports my my thesis is the direct relation to malware. So what I got as information from the sandbox system is not only the score and the severity, but also the link to a malware which is involved. So by clicking the plus, I simply bring it into my investigation. And again, I do have lots and lots of related information. In the timeline, you can see all the sources adding to my threat library, my threat entry, my threat brain regarding this ThreatBot malware. But what really catches my eye is the direct relation to a course of action here. And usually, if you are a little bit familiar with MITRE ATT&CK, you would say, or you would see that it's the relationship building is first malware, then it goes to TTPs, and then to the TTPs, there are courses of action. So a direct relation in my system to the malware is something different. So if I click here the short I, or the I will see a short summary of the database object, in this case, the description of the course of action. And what I see here is that my CERT team put in this specific course of action. They put in a response sheet for the Trojan ThreatBot. If this appears in the network, this is the response sheet for an analyst in order to tell him how his process should look like in order to get rid of the issue. And this is what you can see here. Hence, I put this into my investigation as well. So because there is a response sheet, this leads me to the thought that there might be an incident in the company before. So let's go back to the document, to the attachment, and look for similar events related to it. And hopefully you can see here, there are at least 3 events which pretty much look like the one I'm dealing with. So for example, just click one here and bring the previous event into my investigation. And do pretty much the same as I did before by bringing in the recipient email address and looking for the identity. I have a first starting point for a further investigation. Both of the victims are in France, so it might be that a threat actor is targeting this part of my company specifically. Another pretty useful information is that there was a previous campaign in my company. So I add this to this investigation to have a starting picture for this specific information. for this specific investigation. So I want to just stop here with my picture. It might be a starting point for additional additional investigation. But coming back to the mentioning of the order leap from my colleague before, I want to say that I could show that I was able to, by painting this short picture here, showing you how we can how we adhere to the order loop. Observe, you saw that all the indications of events and indicators coming into the picture. With Orient, you saw the way I gathered context in this specific case. This side, you saw the intel distribution and the feedback coming into the system. And the ACT part, this investigation, I think, shows perfectly also the way the company reacted at the previous incident, and how this intel collected in the past can benefit me today. So let's close the circle and just have a quick look at this previous campaign by simply looking at the threat library object. So, and what you can see probably here
Okay, I think we have a bit of a technical problem now. So, but this shows this is live.
is that there was a lot of work done, and here we also follow the order loop. What? Which problem?
No, it's better now. We couldn't hear you, Falk. It's good now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. The old guy Murphy still exists. So yeah, but I'm nearly through. The only thing I would mention is it shouldn't stop here, right? You know that there was a previous incident. You should collect all the information you can gather for the previous incident in order to be aware of potential threats coming into your company or into your network. So a good way to deal with this might be creating a dashboard, and this is what you see here. So again, this is created by already by information gathered from different departments, from different sources in the network, and this reflects the work the analysts done regarding ThreatQuotient analysis. So on the left-hand side, you can see here the more technical part regarding ThreatQuotient. You see here indicators related to the life cycle. You see here the sources, the various sources delivering information into the system regarding ThreatQuotient. You see the indicators with a respective scoring. On the middle row, you do see the more tactical part of the picture. For example, the adversaries who reportedly use ThreatQuotient, the ThreatQuotient related malware, the documentation already in the system which reflects ThreatQuotient malware. And here on the right-hand side, you see, for example, available hunting routes aiding you in the process to figure out if you are a victim of ThreatQuotient. And again, here the causes of action. From here, you can access it again. Hopefully, when I click the button, you see the same picture I showed you before. You see here the past events in the system. So, and for me, here on top, the most important widget of this dashboard, if it's a 0, you can still continue with your daily tasks. If there is a number, you should put the daily task away and deal with the situation at hand. So in the end, a few takeaways for me. As Marcus mentioned in the beginning, it's always good to follow a concept, right? And OrderLib gives a lot to relate to. So especially if we're using a platform like ThreatQ. So again, observe. I think consuming as many threat information related to your vertical, to your region, and put this in a common format. I showed this, and the orientation part, getting rid of the noise by sorting out the most relevant information for you and create actionable intelligence. I showed you this as well. The decision part here shown as an example for delivering information to the team and receiving the feedback. I showed this, and the acting part, I think I gave you some ideas too. And therefore, I'd like to thank you very much for listening in and conclude my demonstration here.